I'm Marc Strassman in Los Angeles, and I'm glad to join you remotely in San Francisco. I spent most of the late 1990s trying to create and put in place a system of radical digital direct democracy for California. I ended up with a 1,088-page compilation of my efforts entitled Utopian Elections, Internet Voting, Smart Initiatives, and the Future of Electronic Democracy. You can still Google it under that title, but none of what I proposed was ever enacted into law. My vision of Internet-enhanced direct democracy included remote Internet voting and what I called smart initiatives, which would have let citizens sign initiative, referendum, and recall petitions and satisfy ballot access signature requirements online using Internet-connected computers. I believed that a combination of Internet voting and smart initiatives would let citizens express themselves with the force of law almost instantaneously and often and determine the direction of public policy. Now, 10 years later, the online democracy I imagined for the political system is only in place in the U.S. on American Idol and similar venues. But as you've been discussing today, the European Union is about to institute a European Citizens Initiative, or ECI. I spent 2 hours last Friday talking about ECIs with the EU's U.S. spokesperson. We discussed various aspects of the regulations governing ECIs, and many of them remain to be worked out. But one thing is already certain. The ECI regulations will allow European citizens to sign them online. This is Smart Initiatives 10 years later and under a new name. As you and the drafters of the ECI provision of the Lisbon Treaty realized, using the Internet to collect signatures is faster, cheaper, more secure, and easier to use than analog methods, and so makes the process more democratic. By incorporating this breakthrough in a transnational treaty, Europe's direct democracy advocates were able to circumvent the main obstacle to the implementation of digital direct democracy, which is what stymied me in my efforts in California, namely, that it needs to be put in place through the actions of politicians who stand to be disempowered by it. The problem then was that many California legislators didn't understand the Internet. The problem now is that legislators everywhere do understand it and don't want to be disintermediated by it, and they're not the only ones. When I tried putting smart initiatives in place in California using the initiative process itself, I never got any support from those groups I thought would welcome such a change. It turned out that they were happy with the status quo, in which they could use their substantial resources to qualify initiatives the old-fashioned way. So smart initiatives died. Besides fear of disintermediation on the part of entrenched incumbents, and lack of a motivated constituency, and financing problems, other obstacles to using technology to implement direct democracy include residual groups of people on the far side of the digital divide, public apathy, technical issues about security and the establishment of online identity, and the need for anonymity along with authenticated identity in Internet voting. Nevertheless, some elements of what I proposed more than 10 years ago are slowly gaining public acceptance and coming into existence, even if progress in the U.S. is pathetically slow compared to the quantum leap represented by ECIs that can be signed online. 8 American states now allow eligible citizens to register to vote online by accessing DMV records and applying the digitized versions of handwritten signatures on file with them to voting registration. California has also already adopted such a system, which will be activated once the VoteCal database is ready. One new opportunity that this presents is to allow citizens to use their DMV-stored signatures to digitally sign initiative and other official petitions, just as they are now allowed to use them to register to vote in 8 states. This would give us smart initiatives in a new form. Spokespeople for officials of the state of Oregon have recently told me that they might consider including such an approach when they overhaul their initiative process next year. There have also been very incremental gains elsewhere. Utah now allows, based upon a recent decision by its state Supreme Court, online signing of candidate ballot access petitions. Efforts are also underway there in Utah to allow e-signatures on initiative petitions. Secure Internet voting systems suitable for public elections are available from multiple vendors. The Swiss canton of Geneva has been conducting elections over the Internet for years with no problems. And while I don't want to give away the ending to those of you who haven't finished reading California Crack-Up, How Reform Broke the Golden State and How We Can Fix It by Joe Matthews and Mark Paul, I want to say that the replacement of the ballot initiative with the ballot referendum as the primary instrument of direct democracy in California that they recommend would be greatly enhanced once the VoteCal system is in place, with a system of smart referendums that would use the DMV database to allow citizens to securely and conveniently sign referendum petitions online. Current conditions and ongoing trends argue for and could provide the basis of a greater role for technology in support of direct democracy. Broadband internet access is now considered a basic human right in Finland, and having it is becoming the norm almost everywhere. A virtual community larger than the citizenry of any nation except China or India has been created on Facebook, where, by the way, I'd be glad to accept any of you as friends. It's now blindingly obvious to everyone that more and more of business and everyday life has migrated and will continue to migrate even further to the Internet. Citizens of the 500 million strong EU will now be able to participate in the legislative process using e-signatures, even if only in an advisory capacity, not as direct lawmakers. Millions of Americans, however, can now do almost anything online except routinely make everyday and crucial decisions about their own political future. The contradiction between the existence of this powerful digital infrastructure, combined with a lack of right for people to use it to govern themselves, needs to be resolved by our using that infrastructure to win that right. The Internet has empowered millions of people in countless ways. We need to extend that empowerment to where it matters most, in the determination of public policy, by using the Internet to supercharge existing, new, and future tools of direct democracy. The obstacles to creating Internet-enhanced forms of direct democracy, which include the resistance of powerful special interests and a deadlocked political system, need to be acknowledged. But so, too, do the opportunities offered by the Internet for the expansion of political participation and democratic self-governance. Wherever in the world we live and work, we should seize those opportunities. Thank you for your time, attention, and activism on behalf of modern direct democracy.